What if a single metal could transform your entire fantasy world? Think about Tolkien's Middle-earth with the unmatched strength of Mithril, or the Marvel Universe where adamantium makes Wolverine nearly indestructible. Metals have shaped some of the most iconic fantasy stories we know, and having written and studied fantasy for more than 20 years now, I've discovered that the smallest details often have the biggest impact. So from real-world examples to popular fiction metals for inspiration, in this video I'll show you why metals play such a crucial role and how you can use them to elevate your world building to new heights. But in order to use any of such metals in your story, you first need to understand how to introduce them the right way, because if you don't, it will absolutely wreck your story. Let's start with the basics. Metals are elements with unique properties that make them essential in countless ways. They are strong, durable, and versatile, used in everything from tools and weapons to art and architecture. Metals are formed deep within the earth through intense geological processes. Imagine the immense heat and pressure over millions of years, causing these elements to crystallize and eventually be pushed to the surface through tectonic activity. This natural process brings metals from the depths of the earth to places where they can be discovered and mined. It's like nature's own version of alchemy, turning raw elements into something precious. And the journey of a metal from the Earth's core to a craftsman's hands is a narrative filled with potential. Picture a hidden vein of precious metal discovered by a humble miner, sparking a gold rush that alters the destiny of entire kingdoms. Consider the historical significance of copper, for example. One of the first metals used by humans, copper was relatively easy to find and work with in its native form, where it could be picked up from the ground. As techniques advanced, ancient miners learned to extract copper from ore through processes such as open pit mining, a surface mining technique that involves excavating rock or minerals from the earth. The widespread use of copper marked the transition from the Stone Age to the Metal Age, fundamentally altering the course of human society. I still remember stumbling upon old copper artifacts in a museum once. It was fascinating to think about how such a simple metal could have such a profound impact on human development. But in a fantasy world, metals are often more than just materials. They are symbols, treasures, and sometimes even sources of magic. A hidden hoard of precious metal could spark a daring adventure, with heroes and villains vying for control. A metal that grants strength or healing, or one that can only be worked by those with magical abilities, can become a cornerstone of a world's magic system. Understanding how metals are formed, found, and used can bring a new level of realism and richness to your fantasy world. Imagine the subtle detail of a blacksmith carefully selecting the perfect metal for a hero's weapon, or the significance of a kingdom's wealth depicted through intricately designed coins. These elements can make your world feel authentic and vibrant, transforming your story from the mundane to the magical. Now that the basics are clear, it's time to dive into specific metals that can elevate your world building to new heights. Let me tell you about 5 real-world metals first. Imagine a society that stumbles upon a shimmering reddish metal lying on the ground. This discovery transforms them, marking the end of an entire age. Yes, I'm obviously talking about copper again here. Copper, as mentioned earlier in this video already, was one of the first metals used by humans. It's highly conductive, malleable, and resistant to corrosion, making it perfect for early tools, ornaments, and even primitive machines. Following copper, the historical discovery of bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, marked a significant leap forward in technological advancement. The Bronze Age saw the creation of sophisticated weapons, armor, and tools. Think of it as the ancient version of upgrading from a flip phone to the latest smartphone. In your fantasy world, bronze could equally signify a society's advancement in both technology and art. Maybe there's a kingdom renowned for its exquisite bronze sculptures and unbeatable bronze-armored warriors. Or the discovery of bronze could lead to new trade routes, as tin becomes a highly sought-after resource. Now, while copper and bronze were transformative, iron took human civilization to another level. Unlike copper, iron is abundant and significantly stronger, but it requires advanced smelting techniques to extract. Mastering iron smelting allowed civilizations to produce superior tools and weapons, which were crucial for everything from agriculture and construction to warfare. Imagine a kingdom in your world that discovers iron ore and learns to forge iron weapons, suddenly becoming a formidable military power. This shift could lead to the unification of tribes, grand architectural projects, and a new era of dominance. Silver then has always been associated with wealth, purity, and mystique. Historically, it was used in currency, ornaments, and religious artifacts. In a fantasy setting, silver can serve multiple roles. It could be a symbol of purity and wisdom, a valuable currency, or even a magical element with special properties. Think about a sacred silver chalice that purifies any liquid it holds, or silver coins that bear enchantments for protection and prosperity. Finally, gold's historical use as a symbol of wealth, power, and divine favor is unparalleled. Kings and emperors adorn themselves with gold to display their power and divine right to rule. In your fantasy world, gold could serve similar purposes, but also take on additional significance. Imagine a legendary crown made of gold that bestows wisdom upon its wearer, or a hidden treasure that sparks an epic quest. Gold's luster and rarity can drive characters to new lands and greater challenges, serving as both a physical and symbolic goal. By understanding the unique properties and historical significance of real-world metals, you can weave these elements into your fantasy world in ways that add depth, realism, and intrigue. Now, if you found anything useful in the video so far, please consider giving it a like to help me grow the channel. Thank you. Having explored some of the most essential real-world metals, let's move into the realm of the fantastic and discover how some of the most legendary metals in popular fiction have shaped their worlds and stories. Imagine a metal so light and strong that it can be worn as easily as a silk shirt, but protect its wearer like the heaviest armor. This is Mithril, a metal introduced by J.R.R. Tolkien in his Middle-earth saga. Known as True Silver or Moria Silver, Mithril is celebrated for its unmatched strength and lightness. In the movies, it is described as light as a feather and hard as dragon scales. Mithril's properties make it highly valuable in the crafting of armor and weapons. Think about Bilbo Baggins and his Mithril coat, a gift from Thorin Oakenshield, which later also protected Frodo Baggins from a deadly spear thrust. This coat wasn't just a piece of armor, it was a symbol of the ancient craftsmanship of the dwarves, a treasure from a bygone era. Using Mithril as an inspiration, you could create a metal that shares its dual qualities of strength and lightness, and that is found in ancient mines or guarded by mythical creatures. Next, consider a metal so resilient that it could withstand the most brutal of forces. Enter Adamantium, a metal first introduced in the Marvel Universe. Adamantium is most famously known for being bonded to Wolverine's skeleton, making him nearly indestructible, as mentioned at the beginning of the video. This metal has become a cornerstone of superhero lore, symbolizing ultimate resilience and strength. Adamantium's near indestructibility and incredible durability make it ideal for creating weapons and armor. Imagine a shield that can deflect any attack, or a sword that never dulls, no matter how many battles it endures. Such a metal changes the dynamics of power within its universe, turning its wielder into a nearly unstoppable force. Transitioning to the next example, orichalcum is a metal with mystical roots that traces back to the lore of Atlantis. The Greek philosopher Plato described orichalcum as second only to gold in value, and it was believed to possess both strength and magical abilities. In Plato's Critias, orichalcum is described as a valuable metal found in Atlantis, used to decorate the city's temples and other significant structures to signify its high status and value. Inspired by orichalcum, you could integrate something similar into your world as a symbol of lost knowledge and mystical power, adding historical depth and layers of intrigue to your narrative that drive quests for lost relics and secrets of the past. Moving on, let's journey to the world of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin, where Valyrian steel is a metal of a legendary status. Known for its sharpness, lightness, and magical properties, Valyrian steel forges some of the most iconic weapons in this series, representing both power and prestige. Swords like Heartsbane and Longclaw are treasured family heirlooms passed down through generations. The fact that the secrets of forging Valyrian steel were lost with the fall of Valyria adds a particular element of mystery and rarity to these weapons. And taking inspiration from Valyrian steel, you could create a metal with a unique magical origin, enhancing the prestige and power of the artifacts made from it, and making them central to your plot. Going back to the Marvel Universe, Vibranium is another powerful metal, and one of the most versatile on top of it. Known for its ability to absorb vibrations and kinetic energy, Vibranium is central to the technological advancements of Wakanda. This unique property also makes Vibranium invaluable in creating weapons and armor, including Captain America's iconic shield. Next, consider Uru, a mystical metal from the Marvel Universe. Thor's hammer Mjolnir is the most famous artifact made from Uru, imbued with magical properties that grant Thor his powers. Uru is incredibly durable and can hold enchantments, making it ideal for creating legendary weapons. In your fantasy world, a metal like Uru could serve as a foundation for mythical artifacts. Imagine a metal that can only be forged by the gods or through a secret process known to a select few loyal believers. Finally then, let's explore the Star Wars universe and the legendary metal known as Beskar. Also called Mandalorian iron, Beskar is known for its incredible durability and resistance to blaster shots and lightsaber strikes. This metal is central to Mandalorian culture, used to forge their iconic armor as well. The process of forging Beskar is a closely guarded secret, known only to skilled Mandalorian smiths. Taking a closer look at any of these popular examples for inspiration can help you spark incredible ideas for your own creations. Now, more than 2 decades ago, I inherited a golden watch from my great-grandfather after he passed away. And while it pains me to say that this was stolen in a burglary many years ago, I still remember how it felt holding the watch in my hands. This rare blend of value and history combined in a single object really fascinated me. Now imagine adding fantastical elements on top of this, like wielding a sword that whispers ancient secrets or wearing armor that shifts with your thoughts. It's rarely discussed in writing, but a single metal could literally change everything in your story. So let me show you how to forge a metal that's not just a material, but a character in its own right. There's a catch though. Creating a truly compelling metal isn't just about making it strong or shiny. It's about weaving it into the very fabric of your world. Get this wrong and your readers will see right through it. Get it right and you'll have them spellbound. Let's start with the foundation, defining the purpose of your metal. This is crucial because it sets the stage for everything else. Ask yourself, what role will this metal play in your story? Is it going to be the key to unlocking ancient magic? Or perhaps it's the only thing standing between your heroes and total destruction? Take Tolkien's Mithril again, for example. It wasn't just strong, it represented the lost glory of the dwarves, a tangible link to a bygone age. That's the kind of depth we're aiming for here. So when defining your metal's purpose, consider its historical and cultural significance. Maybe it was forged by ancient gods and gifted to mortals. Or perhaps it's a recent discovery that's revolutionizing your world's technology. The key is to make it more than just a cool material. It should have a story of its own. Next then, we need to define its properties. This is where you can let your imagination run wild. Maybe your metal changes color with the wield's emotions, or perhaps it's liquid until shaped by a master craftsman's will. But don't just focus on the magical properties. Think about its physical characteristics too. Is it light as a feather, but strong as a diamond? Does it conduct heat or electricity in unique ways? Here's a practical tip. Create a properties chart for your metal. List out its physical and magical properties, and for each one, note how it impacts your world and story. This will help you keep track and ensure consistency. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. The more extraordinary your metal's properties, the more carefully you need to consider its impact on your world. If it's too powerful, it could create plot holes or make your characters invincible. Balance is key. Now let's talk about rarity and source. Is your metal as common as iron or as rare as a dragon's tear? Where is it found? Maybe it only forms in the heart of a dying star, or perhaps it grows like crystals in hidden caves. The scarcity of your metal can drive entire plot lines. Just think about the lengths characters in Game of Thrones go for a single Valyrian steel sword. Consider creating a rarity scale for the materials in your world with your unique metal placed appropriately. This can help you gauge its value and impact on your economy and society. As for the source, get creative. Maybe your metal is mined from the bones of ancient behemoths, or perhaps it's harvested from the dreams of sleeping gods. The more unique and interesting the source, the more opportunities you have for world building and plot development. Crafting and usage are next on our list then. Who can work this metal? Does it require special techniques or maybe even magical rituals? The process of forging your metal can be as fascinating as the metal itself. Consider developing a forging lore around your metal. Who are the master craftsmen? Are there secret societies dedicated to working with this metal? What tools are needed? This adds depth to your world and can create interesting subplots or character backgrounds. Also think about its applications. Is it primarily used for weapons and armor, or does it have more diverse uses? Maybe it's an essential component in your world's version of computers, or perhaps it's used in religious ceremonies. Finally, and most crucially then, we need to integrate this metal into your narrative. How do your characters interact with it? Does it cause conflicts or forge alliances? Your metal should be more than just a cool prop. It should be a driving force in your narrative. So try this exercise. Write a short scene where a character encounters your metal for the first time. How do they react? What does it mean for them? This can help you understand how your metal fits into your world on a personal level. When you create a metal that resonates with the heart of your narrative, that's when the magic really happens. That's when your metal becomes more than just an element, it becomes legendary. I have to warn you though, designing unique metals can transform your story, but if not combined with proper world building, it will do more harm than good. So watch this video about the beginning steps of world building next, and follow along through the entire world building fundamentals series.